everyone. Thanks so much for stopping by at the Peppered Peach today, where we're going to be checking out something called the Black Forest Cake. So this isn't normally something that I would order at a restaurant or make. However, I am excited about it because I've never made this by myself, and we have a great recipe here from Magnolia Cookbook Volume Number 2. So let's check it out. I was in the mood for some cherries and some cake, so let's make Black Forest Cake together. So we have all of our ingredients here. Let's get this Black Forest Cake started. All right, so our first step is to mix up our dry ingredients. So it's a lot of ingredients here because we have 2 cups of granulated sugar. 2 cups, okay? So talk about sugar. All right, and we have 2 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We're gonna take that. We're gonna mix that with 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder. If it wants to come out, okay, there we go. We have baking soda, which I believe is a teaspoon. No, it's a teaspoon and a half, and a teaspoon and a half of baking powder. All right, and we're gonna whisk this together. I had an all white shirt on and I thought to myself, I'm definitely getting chocolate on this. So what did I do? I put on another white shirt, but at least it's half, right? All right, so once this is all mixed, we're gonna set this aside and start putting together our wet ingredients, and then we're gonna add in the dry ingredients. So, just mixing up. I still see a little bit of the white flour coming through. And okay, this is all mixed. Wait, I take that back. We need to add in the salt, which is a teaspoon. Glad someone told me to do that. No one did. Just looking at it. Okay. All right, so now this is all mixed. Let's get this off to the side. Let's pull up our stand mixer and we'll get mixing. All right, so we have our stand mixer. Let's get mixing. So we're gonna be combining our eggs, which is 2 eggs. I left these out at room temp, so easier to work with. Whoa. Rogue egg. So 2 eggs, so I make a mess. We have our milk, which is a cup of milk. We have oil, which is a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. And we have 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And we'll mix this up. She says to do this for 1 to 2 minutes, so 1 to 2 minutes of time. All right. All right, so now we're gonna add in all of our dry ingredients. It just seems like so much, but we're adding it in. All right, so let's do this slowly. I'll add in some of this. Okay, I'll mix it up and then I'll just keep going. All right, so before I go on, I'm going to just spatula this around a little bit. To be honest, I didn't think all the dry ingredients were gonna get mixed in, but it did, so I'm sorry for doubting you. Okay, one last little stir. Okay, perfect. All right, our next step is, this actually does call for 2 teaspoons of instant coffee. So I'm gonna warm up some hot water, or I'm gonna warm up some water to make it hot, and then we're gonna mix this together, and then we're gonna throw that in there, I think. So let me get some hot water and we'll get this going. All right, so now that we have our hot water, which is 1 cup, I'm gonna add this 2 teaspoons of our instant coffee. I'm gonna add this in, and I'm just gonna stir it up. So do you all remember during COVID, we had the whipped coffee? I always have instant coffee now in the house for that very reason, because sometimes I just crave that whipped coffee. So it's a staple in this house. All right, so now that that's all combined, we're gonna add this into our wet mixture over here, and we're gonna add this very slowly. Is it going? Oh, I'm missing. Okay, great. Great, okay. It's okay, a little dripping. I don't think it's gonna kill it. I hope not. All right. We'll let that go, go, go. All right, we'll turn this up to medium. All right. I think we are all set. So now that that is all mixed, we are going to divide this into our 3 cake batter pans. So this does call for 8 inches, an 8-inch pan. I only have 9. I don't think it's gonna kill it, right? So we are going to put them in there, divide it evenly, and I already have sprayed our pans as well. So here they are. Yes, they're not all the same. The size does not matter here, okay? And the shape, it's all the same, okay? So I am going to do my best to evenly distribute this. Okay, see? I mean, I can only hope for the best here, right? Add a little bit more to each. And our oven is set to 350. And these, I believe, go in the oven for only 22 minutes. So not long at all. Okay. Here we go. We got 3 pans. They look evenly distributed. Let's hope for it. And let's get them in the oven for 22 minutes. All right, our next step is to make our cherries. So I have a can of cherries here. We're gonna drain it, and we need about, well, 14.5 ounce can. This is a little bit more. I'll shave some off, although more cherries, is that really a problem? No. So we're gonna drain this. We're gonna reserve about 1/4 of a cup of the juice. So let's get this in. If I can get it in. Here we go. Rinse, rinse, rinse. A little bit more. Okay, there we go. Here's our juice. We don't need that much. We only need 1/4 of a cup, but I'm just gonna rinse these out. And then we should be good to go. All right. So now we're gonna head over to the stove where we're gonna mix this with our 1/4 of a cup of juice and some more sugar. So let's head over to the stove. Dun, dun, dun. All right, cherries, 1/4 of a cup. I hope this is honestly the right cherries. Okay. And drain the cherries, reserve 1/4. Okay, combine the cherries, reserve juice, granulated sugar, and the cornstarch. So we have our sugar, and we have our cornstarch. I bet you could buy cherry pie filling, which is what I did, and it'd be the same thing. But you know what? We're just gonna do this because I probably bought the wrong kind of cherries. Could not find plain old cherries. So we'll see what happens. I may have just made the same exact thing I just dumped out. But I am not a professional, people. All right, we'll let this go for a little bit, see what happens. All right, so while our cherries are going, let's make our whipped cream. So we have a pint of heavy cream. All right, I'm gonna combine that with our powdered sugar, which is 1/4 of a cup, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we're gonna whisk away. So we just need these cherries to come to a boil, and then once it's at a boil, we'll let it wait till it thickens up a little bit. Then we'll add in a little bit of a splash of vanilla extract and some butter, and then we can put that off to the side. Once our cakes are done and fully cooled, then we can start assembling. It's almost there. It's forming. The peaks are happening. Let's see. Maybe a little bit longer. We're almost there. We're so close. All right, I think our whipped cream is whipped. So let's see if our cherries are boiling. They're boiling. They are boiling, people. All right, so now that they're boiled, we're gonna stir it around a little bit. And let's see what else I need to do, because I don't remember. All right, bring the mixture to a boil, reduce the heat and simmer until the juices begin to thicken. So I'm gonna bring it down, which I did, and we're gonna let it go for about 7 minutes. And then we'll add in our butter and it actually calls for almond extract, but we all know that I'm not a fan of almond extract, so I'm switching that out for vanilla extract. And then we'll mix it together. And that's it. And then once, like I said, once our cakes are done, we gotta let them cool completely, because if we don't let it cool, it's just gonna go plop. So that's it. Okay, 7 minutes. All right, so our cakes timer just went off. Let's see how they look. Watch out, Bao. They look good. Clean as a whistle. Let's check out the bottom. Make sure they made it. Cleanish. Yeah, they're fine. All right, I'm gonna take definitely this one out. I might leave the bottom 2 in for another minute. They were covered a little bit. This one was taking away its sunshine from the tap, so let's see. And this we have another 5 minutes on. The cherries. So, like I said, these need to cool completely. Right, Penny? Penny's staring at me and says, when can I have some chocolate cake? The answer is never. All right, so we'll let these cool, and then we're gonna transfer them to a wire rack and let them cool completely. And we have just a couple minutes left for our cherries. You can tell that they are definitely thickening up. So we'll let that go for another 2 minutes, and then we'll let that set aside. Cool down. All right, so our time is up. Now we're gonna add in that tablespoon of unsalted butter and just a splash of vanilla extract. And we'll stir this together. And we're gonna let this cool out while these chill out. And then once everything is cool, then we'll start assembling. And then it's cake time. Right, Penny? Right, Bauer? Okay. All mixed, turned off. Now we wait to cool down. All right, guys, it is time to assemble our Black Forest cake. So I'm not gonna lie, I am not very good at this. So we get to all be in this together as you watch me just potentially ruin this. All right, So I have a spoon here, I have my cherries, I have the whipped cream that we made earlier, and we have our 3 layers of cake. So I put the first layer down first, obviously, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the whipped cream and we're going to do a layer around the edge, and then we're going to add in the cherry here, and then we're going to put our next piece of cake down and do the same thing, then put the 3rd layer on, and then just use the whipped cream to kind of mush it around. So I'm not good when it comes to the piping, you know, magical things. That is probably a lesson I need to take. So I am not doing the piping, I'm just gonna make it sweet and simple by just using a little, you know, cake icing. I'm sure there's something very fancy for that name and I just don't know what it is. All right, so let's go. So let's get this on the edge. I will just very nicely put this around using a spoon. So nice little layer. Okay. It's okay if it tips over to the edge because the whipped cream is going on around the edge anyway, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, so we got that in. Now let's put our cherries on top. We'll mush it around. Maybe you should get another spoon so I can just get this all in. All right, there we go. Okay. Done. Now let's get our next layer in. Throw it on top. Okay. Okay, getting there. Okay. Now let's get our next layer assembled. So far okay. Not the prettiest yet, but we're gonna try to make it look pretty. I mean, on the inside, it doesn't matter, right? You're not gonna see it. It's just, as long as all the goods are there, that's all that matters. All right, and then we're gonna put the rest of our cherry mixture on top. Okay. All right. All right. And then our last layer. Wow. Okay. So we made it. Oh, actually, I don't know if I was supposed to do... Okay, no, I wasn't supposed to add it. Whew. I thought for a second I was supposed to put cherry on top, but I'm not. All right, so let's just dump the rest of this in. I hope I have enough whipped cream, to be honest. Probably not. But that's okay. You know, like, maybe we just do the top. Well, I have some. Well, here we go. So this is where it gets a little bad for me. Okay, and this is why we're in this together. I have made it very clear that I am not a professional. When it comes to cakes, we have someone in our family who is a cake master. And she makes these amazing cakes and they look perfect. So if you were comparing it to that, I can tell you, it's a fail. But it actually doesn't look terrible. Other than the sides not getting as much love with the whipped cream, maybe that's the look I'm going for. Okay. All right, so I don't have enough whipped cream around the sides. Let me see what I can get out of here. I do have some whipped cream left. See what I can do. Maybe I'm going for that, like, you know, really weird, unfinished looking, you know, vibe. That I nailed it. Okay, it looks kind of cool. I'm not mad at it. I know it's not perfect. It doesn't have that same kind of, you know, perfectionist look, but hey, I warned you all that this is a weak spot for me, so we're gonna have to go for it, okay? All right, Black Forest cake. It's huge. Part of me thinks I should next time just do 2 layers and work on that and then build up to 3 layers. But let's see how it tastes. Let's give it a second. I'm gonna clean up, we'll cut a piece and we'll try it. All right, y'all, it is time to try our Black Forest cake. It may not look pretty, but I bet you it tastes good. Let's check it out. Okay, I love the cake. I love the cherries. I love the whipped cream. It tastes really good. I just think next time I make this, I need to double the whipped cream just so that I can get around the sides because it is such a long and high cake. And maybe it's because I actually did this in a 9-inch pan instead of an 8-inch pan. You know, that might matter. But yes, just maybe double up the whipped cream, at least for me, just so I can get the sides. But it tastes really, really good. I would definitely make this again. It tastes great. So I'm gonna try this again next time with doubling up that whipped cream. If you've made this before, I'd love to know how it went for you. Thank you so much for stopping by at the Peppered Peach. I'll catch you next time.